As a disclaimer, Monster Fuckers Anonymous is indeed about wanting to love and have sex with monsters, but we want to make things extremely clear from the get-go. The monsters we will be selecting will be sentient and able to consent. Not all of the chosen monsters will be sapient, but we will not be endorsing zoophilia or bestiality. Anthropologically, monsters all around the world, and media representations of them, have had many racial and sociological implications. We will be as transparent and ethical as possible, while also sex positive and mostly having fun.
Monsters. Creatures feared all around the world in folklore and myths. Terrifying beings such as the fiendish and frightening fae, demonic devils, sultry sirens, hazardous harpies, and countless chaotic creatures coming from crevices of every continent. As long as stories have existed, there's been one pressing question that has remained unanswered by scholars for generations. One powerful thought that has plagued our minds for millennia. Can we fuck these monsters? That is what we're here to find out today. Welcome to Monster Fuckers Anonymous.
One and all to another fantastic, wonderful, beautiful episode of Monster Fuckers Anonymous, aka MFA, aka the show where we talk about monsters, we talk about their lore, everything about them, their media representations, and then we decide on a scale of 1 to 10 if you, yes you, should have sexual and romantic relations with them. Are some of them good? Yes. Are some of them bad? Yes. Or most of them are average. So, I am your creative creature consulting cleric, here to dish out about monsters and just gossip about them all I want. But a one-person podcast would be boring, so with me, as always, is the wind beneath my wings, the fantastic, the incomparable, the bitch, Joe.
Mm-hmm. That was good. That was great.
Thank you. I'm starting to really iron out. I sometimes forget that I have an official intro that I do for this show and just like wing it every single time.
The one frustrating thing about you is that you're just devastatingly good at improv.
Tee-hee. It's the skill of I know how to do yes and it's a problem, and I will never stop. Ask me to do at live improv, never will. Ask me to do it in a Discord call, bang.
What's the opposite of yes and? No
but.
No but. Yeah,
no but.
I'm that person.
Improv aside, welcome to another wonderful episode. Today, just to do some front of house stuff again, we have a Ko-fi if you want to support us there, and we're all on a whole bunch of different stream new platforms. Like besides Spotify, we have Podchaser, we have a whole bunch of other spots. Podchaser has reviews, so we'd really appreciate some reviews on there. So just know how we're doing. Are we doing good? Are we doing bad? Do you like it? Come on, tell us. We need positive validation, please.
Come on.
Oh no, where are you off to a start? But improv aside, Joe, what have you brought to the table for us to talk about today?
Nothing.
What do you mean nothing? This can't be 4 weeks in a row. It can't be 4 weeks. You mean anything?
I didn't bring anything.
You mean anything?
I didn't bring anything.
Oh no, our episode is ruined if we don't have a topic. What will we do? What's this? Wait a second.
We gotta get our mommy.
We have to get our mommy? Hold on, I'm hearing a knock at the door. I think our mommy's here. Wait a second. That's not mommy. That's Aki.
Oh, knock, knock. It is mommy. I mean, Aki from Akinomi_art. Yeah. Co-producer of Goblets and Gays and Anima Magiri and Well Seasoned Stories. And now I'm also on a Nat 20 production stream on Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern. But I'm also mommy. Hello.
Welcome, Aki. Yes, as the final guest for this first four-part series of guests, we have Aki, our wonderful friend, who's allowed us to be on her show, The Goblets and Gays. Me and Joe has appeared, I think, one time already, and we have, 2 more planned. So check them out on their Patreon and when the streams come up on streaming platforms. But Aki, please, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I have been a big fan since you guys started. So this is exciting. This is very good.
Yeah, you've been at day one.
Mm-hmm.
But Aki, what have you brought for us to talk about today?
Oh, in my little box of degeneracy, I have brought something from my anime past, and I say anime past because it is anime that got me into just studying up Japanese culture, like any good weeb. So I have brought for y'all today yokai. For me, what interested me was it. I have grown up with quite superstitious parents. While we aren't like Buddhist or anything per se, it doesn't matter when you grow up in a different country. You bring their different beliefs, and so my parents. They grew up in South Asia, in India specifically, and they've got a slew of beliefs. I can't cross over your legs if you guys are sitting down, or else that means I'm like cutting your lifespan in half or something. So it's just like that, those kind of super heavy, superstitious beliefs, and yokai kind of are that. So they're all like what, supernatural creatures technically, but they have their own god, not even a hierarchy. It's just there's so many of them. It's really hard to categorize them all.
Just as much as like as many concepts and objects that exist to animate, literally, animism is like so much of Shintoism, right?
Exactly.
Are we all ready to jump in? As you guys know how this show works, is we've all brought one yokai that we all want to talk about. I brought one, Joe brought one, and Aki has brought one. One that we aren't, me and Joe don't know about. So this will be an interesting kind of surprise for us. But if we are all ready to go, Joe, would you like to start us off this week?
Hello, everyone. I would. I'm starting the show all over again.
Okay, do the intro?
No. I bring to all of you the Futa Kichi Onna, the two-mouthed woman. A Futakichi Onna is a type of yokai characterized by their two mouths, a normal one located on her face and a second one on the back of the head. There, the woman's skull splits apart, forming lips, teeth, and a tongue, creating an entirely functional second mouth. They belong to the same class of stories as the women afflicted with a curse that transforms them into yokai. In many stories, the soon-to-be Futakichi Onna is a wife of a miser and rarely eats. To counteract this, a second mouth mysteriously appears on the back of the woman's head. Eventually, the woman's hair begins to move like a pair of serpents, allowing the mouth to help itself to the woman's meals. While no food passes through her normal lips, the mouth in the back of her head consumes twice what the other one would.
So...
Yeah. What's up? Yeah. What's wrong? What's going on? What's up?
Joe, what drew you to this monster in particular, out of all of Japanese myth?
Yeah, so I feel like, first of all, a lot of yokai are just not fuckable. You can't, like, you know that umbrella bitch?
I was literally about to bring up the umbrella.
The umbrella bitch. Kappas are little freaks.
There's literally just one that's a wheel.
Yeah, there's Tengu are birds. Can't
it's a
do
sexy
that.
wheel.
But it's a wheel. What is it going to do to you?
I mean,
it's going to ruin your
run
bits.
you over and die, hopefully. Anyway, so with the Futakichi Onna, if you look at pictures of her, first of all, her design, it is so fucking cool. Her being a part of the many sorts of yokai that are essentially the woman scorned trope, always love that sort of situation. There are many different stories of the origin of this type of woman. And truly there's a mystery of like what type of like story or situation that happened in the like originating or conceptualization of this yokai, this woman. Where did it all start? I feel like we'll never know. But it's kind of like a cool horror story, first of all. And I guess that is sort of like the appeal for me. Thinking about romancing or dating any sort of monster is like sort of the like sexualizing your own fear aspect. But she's just cool. Her design is cool. There isn't that many media that I even really know about in terms of her. But that's what we're here to do today. We're going to complete the MFA dating sim roster.
Yeah, this all has been an elaborate ploy to make a dating sim together.
The joke's on you guys. a lot of my professional career experience is making dating sims, so if you wanna, you let me know.
You heard it here first, folks. No.
If you donate to our Ko-fi, we can make
A different kind of monster fucking dating sim.
What are we? But okay, so I find it. I'm with you. Like my first thought was like Sadako, the one that like the ring monster, the one that comes out of like at least that's like the design I'm thinking, or like the first thing that comes to mind is the design of like the woman with like the hair all the way down to her face, and she doesn't really talk, but then like her mouth opens up from the back, and it's an interesting concept. The first thing I'll let you know that I thought of when I got into the situation, and you probably thought of this yourself, Joe, is 2 mouths to get head with.
Yeah.
So that's opens up a world of possibilities because it takes
bigger lips.
That's actually that is a description. It's not just big lips; it's fat lips. That is a description that comes up. It's big fat lips on the back of her head.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so here I want to paint a scenario for what I think this monster is like, or if it was to be in a dating situation or anything like that.
Yeah,
I imagine you're going out with this girl. She's very quiet. She's very reserved. She doesn't eat much. Like meek is the word that comes to mind. And you're like, okay, this is nice, but like I'm not really getting to know stuff because she's not really talking to me. And then you're just like, hey, did you enjoy your food? Did you like it? I took you to this new restaurant. She's like, oh, it was fine. And then out of nowhere, you hear, this shit ass. And you're like, who the fuck said that? And she's like, no, don't worry about it. It's like, okay, you take her to a movie. And you're like, do you like this movie? You told me you liked horror movies. She's like, yeah, it was okay. I absolutely love that. I love when that kid gets fucking murdered. It's like, well, who the fuck keeps saying that? And at the end of the date, she's like, listen, I need to tell you something. Like, what do you have to tell me? She's like, I don't know how to say it. And the back of her head's like, I'm back here and I tell her real thoughts and shit like that. So it's like it's this dichotomy of like this very mean person who like the back of her head says what she's really feeling.
This woman has venom that's made out of hair in the back of her head, basically. So I think also in some in some respect, this mouth or whatever is still a part of her. There's like a symbiotic. I don't know about 100% symbiotic relationship that's going on, because whether or not the mouth is still a part of her brain, it could be that her personality, maybe just the mouth behind the back of her head just has a more confident personality or voice because no one knows where the fuck the mouth is speaking from.
Oh,
so
cool.
I wonder if almost the second mouth is like a way for her to be confident without having to actually speak.
I never thought of it that way. That's actually really smart. That's really cool. I've seen things where they made so this was a monster fucking webcomic, and basically the guy it's a side character's like super side plot, but there's like a Doulahan girl, and her head talks, the detachable one, but also where the neck is, it talks too. So it's actually they treat each other as both the same person but two different people because their personalities are a bit different. Where one is the head is like much more like meek because she's the face of the whole body. Without the head, she's like way more confident and like sultry and shit because she's the rest of the body. So it was like two different things, and I was like, that's cool. But then it's like, does it count as dating two different people, or does it count as one entity?
I think it's almost this is a stretch. It's almost as if you are dating like the actual person behind the VTuber, but you're also still technically dating the VTuber kind of thing. It also says in the potential prototypical story is that this is a woman that doesn't seem to eat anything, or like eats very little, but is still a hard worker. So, I mean, if you want that, like, this is not only a romance relationship, this is a work relationship. My girlfriend really barely eats, but the back of her head does, so that she can keep doing what she wants to be doing. Like, she's a shy, grinding bitch with venom in the back of her head.
Okay, I'll say I'm leaning towards like I liking this so far. I'm liking this, but as I always do, I must be negative, and so I want to bring up. I don't care. Give me a fucking look. I want to bring up some downsides that I'm possibly seeing. What if her head decides that like the back of her head, decides that the back of the head doesn't like you. So then as you're dating this girl and she's like, I really like you, the head is like throwing out venom, whipping shit at you, trying to like purposely harm you. And that's immediately a problem. That's going to be an
I would
issue
seduce the mouth. Gaping mouth. Big fat lips.
Because it's big fat lips. I don't like that.
I'll just kiss the head. I'll just kiss the back of her head.
Okay.
Any questions?
Sure.
Anything else?
Many, but we'll move on.
Okay.
My second issue that I'm seeing is that, say maybe the head does like you, but there's this issue where it's like, okay, there's this girl who's like, she's super hardworking, but she never takes care of herself, and like her body's literally forcing her to take care of herself, but it's like she's still keeping the same routine of like, you're watching her slowly do the same thing that is like killing her, not killing her, but like draining her energy, draining everything about her, and you're like, I'm so concerned for you, babe, can you please like eat something or like do something, like we got to change your routine. She's like, no, I want to keep doing this,
Honestly,
that can be draining for
same.
you.
I do the same thing.
These are not good things.
I mean, yeah, but we could work through them together and grow. We could go to therapy together, go to eating disorder and remission shit. And like the head basically eats for her. Like there's nothing about her like deteriorating, and like the head, the mouth and the back of her head is like a separate stomach by any means. It's almost as if the girl is the baby and the back of the head is the mom, and it's just like the same sort of like.
So then you get mommy and baby play mixed into one. If
you want that,
this is what you created. You mentioned it.
You created.
This is what you created. But I think we've talked a lot about it. Do you want to
mommy baby play?
Mommy baby play.
Mommy baby play.
Mommy baby play.
As a rating, 0.
Well, no. Let me separate that.
Okay.
Mommy play, 9 out of 10.
10.
10. Absolutely.
10 out of
10.
Baby play, no.
0.
I'm good. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. You're weird. If you like that, I'm going to shame you. You're weird.
It's not necessarily. It depends on how it's used. No,
I
like
take
if
it
you
back.
have age regression, right? If you have age regression stuff, that's fine. If this girlfriend has age regression stuff, we can talk about it.
Yeah.
However,
consent is key. Don't be weird with it.
Don't be weird.
My firm belief is that some kinks deserve to be shamed.
Honestly, yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But if you do it responsibly, PSA, just don't be weird. Just don't be weird with it. Just don't be weird. I think.
Yeah, and if your next girlfriend has a head behind the back of her head, a mouth, fuck. If your next girlfriend has a mouth in the back of her head, and she wants to be called baby and wants to call you mommy, regardless of gender, consider it.
Oh! Before we move on, I do want to mention because Joe, you brought this up in which like, you couldn't find anything on like where it came, like how it started. This myth. So, I have been on a lot of like women's studies, and one of the things that they talk about sometimes is where those old wives' tales come from. You know, like the things that mothers tell their daughters in order to like, watch out, or else I don't know, you'll be barren. Like I don't know, just something like that. And the Futa Kichi Onna gives me that vibe a little bit because it's about a woman who doesn't eat. It's about a married woman who doesn't eat. And, maybe her appetite little. Maybe she's just not eating because she thinks she looks better skinny. So that's how I low-key see it. Sort of like this is a tale that a mother would tell her daughter, like, don't forget to eat or else a mouth's going to grow in the back of your head, and make sure you do eat. Like that's how I kind of see it, which is why I actually think this is a much more chiller and kind of cuter yokai, actually, when you like think about it. Like this head's not doing anything. It's not like this head is like eating babies and like attacking birds mid-flight like a
it
frog's
could. I guess
tongue.
it could.
I mean,
Right, it could.
Yeah.
I'd be cool with that.
Yeah, we don't know how bloodborne we gonna get, but like it could.
It could.
And I'm actually not gonna judge it if it does that. That's a cool trick.
Yeah, I think this is just like a chill, relatively shy person that, with all of the like social psychology of the problem of being perceived, having a mouth in the back of your head, being able to talk for you, same brain.
Yeah.
Big brain, massive, wrinkled, I dare say.
One wrinkle. No smooth brains here. Only wrinkles.
The wrinkliest brain.
I just think she's neat.
we can find out how neat she is by jumping into the Popo scale. So, do we want to start with possibility? How possible, with both their personality and their location and their generalized lore, is it to get with this monster? Joe, how possible do you think it is?
I feel like it's pretty possible. You just gotta get married and then you eventually find out, or like maybe there's clear communication from the beginning that like I have a head, I have a mouth in the back of my head. Is that cool?
Yeah, I would say based on like this is one of the mythological beasts that like or mythological creatures that like interacts regularly with humanity, right? Like is in cities, is in suburban areas. Like it's not like they're secluded like other creatures would be, or they are like certain conditions have to be met. Certain conditions do have to be met, but not like you have to clear like 1,000 conditions in order to even remotely see them. So honestly, I'd rank this pretty high. I'd give this an 8 out of 10 for possibility.
I will echo that.
8 seems like a very solid rating, not gonna lie. Mostly because I don't this one feels like one, it's like right time, right place.
Yeah.
And then it's also like I don't think she would tell you, you know. I have another mouth in the back of my head. I think that's something that you got to build with trust. So this is like a nice, like, be it platonic, romantic, whatever. This is a nice relationship that you are. This is a very wholesome, fuckable monster. Like, probably the most wholesome that I've seen on this show.
All right, triple ace across the board. We're off to a solid start. So, with that out of the way, triple ace across the board, we can move on to attractiveness. How attractive this monster is to us through both their personality and their physical appearance. Joe, what are you feeling? Let me ask you first. This is your monster.
I think just thinking about it, this is not going to be my 10. We are allowed 1 10 and 1 1 throughout the entirety of the episode. This won't be my 10. I don't know if this will be my 9 either. I think there are many factors to this type of arrangement. I'm sure as complicated as it is for someone to be in a situationship with a potential parasite in their own body. There just might be some hiccups, but I do think it's an 8. I think it's still fairly high. I don't know if it's going to be a 9 though.
Okay, I respect it. That's an unusually conservative score from you.
8.
An 8 is a conservative score from Joe, let's be honest.
Okay, this is to clarify. Higher on the attractive scale means like hotter,
yes.
Right? Like better. Okay,
yeah.
Double checking that. I'm going to say, I want to say like a 7.5. And this is absolutely nothing to actually do with her. It's more so like I'm still wrapped up on the second mouth situation because is it like Venom? Because if it's like Venom, I'm fine. But if it's just an additional mouth, this is just a mouth, like not really that sentient and stuff. I have no idea like what'll happen. What if I'm small? What if I like go for like a hug or something, and the mouth is like, oh, okay, nom, like, you know, that's not that great, right? It's the logistics of how conscious is this second mouth,
right?
But yeah. Just the score is 7.5 because it's just how sentient is this mouth, is this head. And or how much control does she even have over it? I just don't want to get nommed by mistake.
I'm going to give this, I'll let everyone know, I'm giving this a 6.
Okay.
Even like a 5.5 kind of vibe. I'll stick with 6, the higher score. But the reason I'm saying that is all the reasons Aki brought up, because again, if I like stick my dick in the back head and it chomps off my dick, I'm going to feel some type of way. Even if I like you, I am going to feel like teeth during head is weird. So next is audacity. How much hubris would it be? How much confidence that you are going to need in order to approach this monster, in order to have a relationship with them? I think I'm just going to put this middle of the road 5. Not too crazy, but kind of, you have to be prepared.
I think we could go higher. I think specifically what I mean by that is that like most of the approach is just like timid and or chill, just lady. And then, I mean, most of these stories about her getting married. So she's like cool and diligent enough that you're like, this is a lady that will make my family proud. Like I'm into her. we're having a good time. She just doesn't eat that much, which is like a general concern in any relationship. If you're not meeting your physiological needs, interoception or otherwise, certainly, if there is something taking care of her, I think it's still an 8 to me. Like,
Okay.
it's not that audacious. It's just those 2 little notches down of like, she has a mouth in the back of her head.
Yeah. I'll knock you for it. I'll clown you for that. I think it's fine. I think I understand where you're coming from with it.
I'll kill you.
What the fuck?
I want to say a 6 or a 7. I'll stick with a 6.5 actually. Just me staying in the middle. The reason why is because okay, I am marrying whom I'm hoping is the love of my life. Does she not eat as much? Yeah, okay, I watched that. We've been dating and now we're married. I should be aware of this part, right? But the part that I'm not aware about that she hasn't told me is mouth, right? And that comes out of nowhere. And so now I have to readjust again, right? So that's how I see it. It's like, okay, you never told me. I was never aware. I don't know how long this has been going on. So now I gotta figure that shit out. So I can definitely see, like hiccups there and stuff, including all the other things that we talked about. The second scenario is I know this woman. I know this woman got mouth in the back of her head. I've seen her hair do some wacky shit. I am ready. I got this. I have the confidence of 11 individuals. I can handle this, right? Right. So it's like, it's either you're confident and you know what you're getting yourself into, or at least me, or I've been lied to, essentially. And now I'm in a long committed relationship. I still love this woman, but this is a pretty big part that she should have told me.
Yeah.
Right?
Certainly.
And it's not a deal breaker. It's just I'm a little hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a bit of a for me.
So with that kind of mindset, our last category is parental approval. Would
9.
our Christian immigrant parents approve of this monster, i.e. if we were in a fantasy world, or a world where monsters were all hanging out in, would they still approve of the monster? I know for a couple other episodes we've been like, if they're in the real world, of course we wouldn't approve. It's a giant fucking dragon. But I think after reading some things on Twitter, I think we explained a little bit about the last episode. Parental approval has been kind of shifted to be more, if we were in a fantasy world where monsters were real, would our Christian immigrant parents in that situation still approve? And I honestly have to echo Joe. It is a 9. This is besides the back of the mouth and the back of the head thing. This is a completely normal person. They're like, you guys are getting married, so obviously you have to be compatible in order to date. So this is just a regular relationship. And so I think my parents would be okay with it, especially since it is a woman and they're homophobic. I gotta stop saying that.
Even in a fantasy world.
I have to stop saying this.
Well, it's a fantasy world where they coexist doesn't mean they still can't go,
True.
The
A
whole
male
misphobia,
monster? You couldn't find a woman dragon?
Okay.
I need to stop. But yeah, so I think my parents would approve 9 out of 10.
She's just a guy.
She's just a guy.
You're just a guy. And if your relationship is also built on lies, like Cleric and I's, then what's another thing you just get away with? But it also, like, optics-wise to your parents, it's fine. It's all good.
I'm going to have to rate this one individually because my dad's super chill. My mother is not. So my dad, 10. This is a 10, actually. This is like a 10 out of 10. My dad is so chill, right? He'll just be like, are you happy? Yeah, you're happy? Okay, cool. And so long as she doesn't, like, I don't know, kick my door down and go, I'm here to I don't know, rob you and your valuables and your daughter, just every single strand of hair has a knife, it's nothing like that, right? So, yeah, that would be like, you happy, cool, okay. Whether or not he even knows about the hair mouth over there, I don't think he'd be that bothered, actually. He'd just be like, okay, cool, so we need to get more food when you guys come over. Okay,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly.
Now, My mother. I actually think she'd be also relatively chill. I want to give it like an 8, and the only reason why we're minusing 2 points is because this is a girl. That's it. Yeah, that's truthfully it. I think my mom would be relatively chill, especially if she knew beforehand. She's like, okay, more food then. Okay, that's it. Like, my parents are like, just let us know. You want more food? You want less food? Tell us specific food. We make a lot of Indian food at home. So can the mouth handle spicy food? Yes, no. My mom can adjust, right? So I think it's relatively chill. Just with my mom, we always got a -2 for the cooch.
So I think if we average that out, 10 to 9, I guess that just makes it a 9. We take the middle of it. So we got triple 9s across the board for this one as well. So with that, we have our we're going to add up all of our scores, and thus we're going to get our overall score for this monster. So now, as always, we are going to pause for math. And so after calculating our overall scores, Joe, what did you get?
I got an 8.3.
Oh, pretty high. Aki, what was your score?
I got a 7.8.
And I got a flat 7, which leaves us an overall score of a 7.7, which for MFA, that's pretty high. I think that ranks in the top 5.
Oh, nice.
Which, I think it's because she's, like, very much a person. Like, there really were, even the downsides that we had weren't that heavy with it. Like, they weren't, like, relationship destroying downsides or, like, death downsides. They're more just like, this is an inconvenience at most.
This is a monster that we want to marry.
Yeah, I would marry this monster easily.
Yeah.
But with that, we're going to finish up with the famished Futa Kichi Oni and move on to my monster. And I think I've picked a staple of Japanese folklore, and that are for the mighty Oni. Oni are one of the greatest icons of Japanese folklore. They are large and intimidating, standing taller than most men. Oni come in many variations, but are most commonly depicted with red or blue skin, with wild hair, 2 or more horns, and fang-like tusks. Often adorned with the pelts of defeated beasts, Oni are born when truly wicked humans die and descend into hell. They are given the task to torture humans, which they revel in. No 2 stories of Oni are the same, except for one thing. They are always the villain of mankind. I just wanted to beat the shit out of me.
So now you're on board.
Oh yeah. As everyone knows, I'm a fucking hypocrite. And I'll say that to the day I die. So, something interesting about Onis is that if somebody's truly wicked in their life and they're just like a shitty fucking person, they can become an Oni and just start rampaging around, beating the shit out of everybody. Which I think is interesting, which means Oni can't appear in real life except for like they're the shittiest person. So I would like to paint a scenario for the council, if you will. Am I allowed to bring forth my offering?
Yes.
No.
I'm going to do it anyways. So, I'm imagining you're walking down the street and you start hearing just bow, 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 bow. And you're like, yo, what the fuck is happening? So you investigate because you're curious. You turn around and you see just around you is all these bodies on the floor. Beaten, bloody, beating the absolute shit out of. And then standing on top of a pile of just decrepit, beaten up bodies is this 9-foot tall Oni, man or woman, whoever they want, your choice, standing there on top of it, short shorts, a fur coat on top, and you know those bandages that the bandages that they usually do, you know the vibe.
Over the nipple
bandages, and just standing there with a club or a baseball bat if we keep it modern. A baseball bat right at the side, standing there, choke holding a delinquent or choke holding some dude or that they just beat the shit out of, and they're covered in blood. Throw them down. They turn around to look at you, and you make eye contact, and immediately you fall to your knees, quivering because it's so fucking hot. But then they descend the pile of bodies they just beaten the shit off. They walk up to you, and they're either fight me or fuck me. What you want to do? And you're like, yes, ma'am. So that's the scenario I've painted.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
Very compelling, yes.
It's a very compelling one.
Mm.
Because I took something that CJ, a Scholastic Dragon, said to heart. This is called character development for some of you who may not be aware. That sometimes you don't have to change them. Sometimes you can just be corrupted by them. And I'm willing to be corrupted and be wicked with her.
CJ's the first person that said this on their show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm giving CJ the credit.
Okay.
I
see.
Visually, this is very fun to watch.
So that's the scenario. Is this just strong, 9 foot tall, buff person picking you up, throwing you over your shoulder, and just being like, now we're going to, like, you're mine now. I'm going to destroy the world, but you're the one I'm going to keep.
God, you just want to belong to somebody.
I just want to belong to somebody. I just want somebody
Every single fucking monster, you're just like, you're mine now. And that's like put in such a positive light for you, which I love.
I just want somebody to knock on my door. I open it. They say it's just like tall, buff, whoever, grab me by the neck and be just like, "Hey, do you want to be mine?" And I'm just like, "Yes." And then there's I'm the little spoon. They're the big spoon. I like being the little spoon, and she seems like somebody who will let me be the little spoon.
So, correct me. Are Oni is Oni like a more neutral type of yokai, or are they exclusively like bad, or is it just like gray levels?
So here's what I'll say: is in the actual lore that I'm reading, and if anybody who may know lore better, may know mythology better, can please correct me.
It's me.
Aki, do you want to take it?
Yeah. I mean, like, no, you can take it first, and then I can correct you. But like,
we can just save that part.
Let's go that way. No.
Fine. Okay. I'll get to is that in the folklore right now. It's what I'm reading is that they are very much villains, but that also depends on the degree of what a villain is. So in some cases, it can be like this world, like I'm coming to kill all humanity, peel your skin, eat your bones, shit like that. Or it can be like, I just want to have fun and fight. And that's kind of what I want to do. I want to fight, I want to fuck, I want to live my life. And so that's kind of the vibe. So I think it ranges what you depend on what a villain is. Aki, I see you're shaking your head.
No, I'm nodding because you're not wrong. Onis are evil. They're bad. They're what do you call it? It's essentially like you said, when a human is so wicked and bad, when they die, they're going to end up in essentially one of like the many Buddhist hells, right? And they also serve the ruler of hell, right? And the ruler of hell is like top dog bad in that case, right? They punish they punish other people who go to hell. Like that is their role. They're all dommy mommies. And how they're treated now though is now they're also seen as guardians in Japanese festivals and stuff. So their lore, their perception and stuff like that has been like 180 turned. So are they bad? Do they eat people? They are just their term I think also just straight up means demon or ogre and stuff. So it's like they're a general term of a specific species of yokai, and usually it's like bad, super bad. Whereas now, though, they're like, I don't want to say paraded around because that kind of gives off some negative connotations, but they are like icons for peace and specifically guardians and being protective. Like, you know, villages will have like their own little like Oni idol, and that is the guardian of their village, and they will like, you know, serve it for worship and stuff like that. So it's like you can have an anti-hero boyfriend is what I'm trying to say. You can have like that kind of vibe. You can have somebody who's been through it, you know, who's bad, so bad, and has suffered like hundreds of years in like repenting, and now they're just Batmaning it, you know. Like you can have that. You can have the full arc. Why stop at just?
We got like we got like a very powerful like elemental gargoyle type of person going on. It was very good. They are cannibals.
They are cannibals. Yes.
I'm okay with that.
I think they also are they're kind of like an OP choice because they're supposed to be super strong. They got all of the like strength, endurance, which is like haha bed, but they also have magic prowess. They're sorcerers too. You're getting fucking everything. You're getting
the
the Mary Sue of yokai, and I for one would settle for I would not settle for less.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, true.
I think we've set it up enough. Do we want to jump into the Popo scale?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I was born in it. Born for the Popo scale. Molded by it. So, possibility. How possible it is to get with this monster. I will be real. I'm giving this a 6. A little bit. Actually, I'll say a 7. I'll say 7. And my reasoning behind it is this. Yes, Onis can transform from regular human beings to, from regular human beings if they're super wicked. Like shitty-ass people. Which then brings up... actually, I'll talk about that more in attractiveness, but that brings up that... So you can't see them in the real world, or in the world that we've created here. The second problem is that they have to come from hell. They have to, all rise from hell to be allowed to be in. So that also has to do with demon summoning, the whole 9 yards. So that might not be extremely super possible to do, or a portal to hell has to open up, or there has to be a certain location. So that's why I'm more leaning towards a 6. It is possible to encounter them in the real world, but you have to find an extremely shitty person, which I guess will bring up a downside when I talk about attractiveness.
How widespread are they supposed to be, Aki? Are there any modern day sort of things? I mean, I guess technically their spirit is usually all over the place.
I'm pretty sure they're just... It's really hard to kill an Oni in general. Has it been done? Yeah, there are shrines in Japan that people don't go to because it's there's a benevolent Oni spirit here that was killed so many years ago, and we're just not gonna touch this place. And I'm respectable, yeah. So technically, yeah, I feel someone as popular as them and as iconic as them, they're also low-key immortal. They're vampires. I think they would be spread out. Whether or not you're getting a crispy new babe or I don't know, a gilf, I have no idea. But I think they would be common.
Okay. If that's the case, then maybe I'll upgrade it to a 7 if they're more common like that. So yeah, I think I'll go with a 7.
I'm thinking, in my mind, for whatever reason, they're widespread walk-in as I mean, who knows how common vampires, for example, would be just walking around, but there potentially would be populations of them. I'll say 7 as well. That's because I'm not entirely sure. I think there is a mild barrier to entry, but I don't think it's impossible by any means.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Aki?
9. Here's why. I know for a fact I'm going to hell when I die. So when I go to hell, that means my only opposition, truthfully, would be the great Lord Enma, the ruler of hell himself. And I know for a fact that I can whoop his ass. He's on my list. I will whoop his ass in any parking lot, anywhere actually. So all I have to do is die. Go to hell like I know I'm gonna go. Meet the guy that's gonna judge me. Whoop his ass in hand-to-hand combat. I'll take anything too. I'll let him cheat. It's his domain. I'll whoop his ass. And then I'll become the Great Lord. And then I'll have so many Oni at my disposal.
I love this energy.
And that is why it's a 9. I should say 10, but I need to humble myself somewhere.
All right, I'm not gonna fight you on this. If you're about to be the Lord of Hell, I'm not about to fight you with it.
I'm not about to.
Jumping to attractiveness, I would give this a 10 out of 10. But the person who does this, the person who becomes an Oni, has to be a truly wicked individual. I'm somebody who sells fucking NFTs and shit like that. So if they're doing this, if they're a wicked individual, would that be someone I want to be with personality-wise? If there's somebody who just beats the shit out of people, that's fine with me. Grab me by my neck and beat the shit out of me. But if it's somebody who is an NFT seller or a business bro or a misogynist because they're super wicked, because wickedness can be whatever, that kind of vibe, that sounds disgusting to me, genuinely. So that's just a factor I want to put into the zeitgeist and into everyone's minds. I'm giving this a 10 out of 10 though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're hot. Like I said, I just want to be.
They're so hot.
They're so hot.
They're so hot.
They're so hot.
I also honestly I do love villains in general. And obviously, I don't know how much in real life I would be able to like date a real person that is a villain if they like if someone has come up to me and they're like, "Hey, I'm an otherworldly spirit that has eaten people." I would be like, if we were both 2D, this would be fine. I love it. I love a redemption arc. Like, I think it's a 9. Yeah.
All right, fair.
I'm once again going to be around the 7.5 to 8 scale. And this is mostly because, so, Oni hot, Oni real hot. But Oni can also come in, like, many different forms. They can have, like, multiple eyes and shit. And I'm okay
That's
with
true.
that. But that might not be, like, everyone's cup of tea, right? And sure, they can change their appearance, but that's what they look at, like, at the end of the day. So it's like, do you really want to force them? Not force them. But do you really want to make them change into something that is more appealing to you and maybe outside of their comfort zone? That's how I see it. I don't want to force people to do things. Like, yes, you can look like my ideal type of person, but like, it's like, I don't know. It feels, I'm the bad one. After that, that's what it feels like. You eat babies, but I'm the bad one, right?
Because I forced my beauty standards on you. Actually, I think that brings up the next good point of audacity. I think everything that's been brought up, audacity, this is like a 2. This is very audacious. This is extreme. Like, you are going to be going through trials and tribulations if you're trying to go after an Oni. You either need to fight them, you either need to fight them and beat them, fuck them as equals, or try not to get eaten, or try not to have an NFT, bro. There's so many fucking for many fucking, like, factors. This is a 2. This is a difficult process.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's like a solid 2. I think me as a person, I'm pretty audacious. Ooh, you know, like the lion, the witch, the audacity of this bitch is me. Is me, okay? And I think they're worse than that. You know, like, I think I'm a 4. They would be lower technically, but 2 seems like a very accurate. Like, it's gonna be 1. We're gonna be horrible in public. I think we're gonna be a menace to society, and I mean, I'm ready for that. But like, there's gonna be work. There's definitely gonna be like personal life work. That's for sure.
Okay.
3. I feel like with the versatility that they have, certainly, there's gonna be some terrible, mean fucking bitches. However, what did I say for? I've given 3 to potentially worse or less worse. So
that's true. You've been worse.
I've been worse.
Finally, parental approval. Would our Christian immigrant parents, if we were in a world where Onis were regular, approve of this monster? No. 1. I think this is a categorical 1. Again, it's never a problem if they eat our parents, but it's a problem that they're demons. And my parents are not fucking with that shit.
True.
So, gotta be a 1. They can make themselves look attractive. They can make them do all that, especially, but if they're still bringing that wicked personality into that meeting, fuck no, that ain't happening. There's no way around it. 1.
2.
I hate you.
I must say 2.
Fucking whatever.
Just because of that aspect of shapeshifting, there's a little hope, but there's not all the hope or a lot of it by any means.
Like, I don't think my parents are gonna like them. I really don't. I think they're gonna ask me several times, "You okay?
Yeah.
Are you doing okay?"
Is this a cry for help?
Like, I think several times they're gonna ask me what's up. And I wouldn't put it past my Oni lover to pick a fight with my parents, but my parents, the Oni has not met my mother, and like, if you know, it's like sticks and stones, but she'd be throwing cement blocks. So yeah, no,
absolute vibe. But with that, we got all our scores. Time to find out our overall one. So we're going to pause for math. After calculating all our scores, Joe, what you get?
I got a 5.3.
Aki?
5.1.
And I got a straight 5, which gives us an overall score of a 5.1, which just inches them above average. Which sucks because they're so fucking hot, But again, the wickedness aspect is kind of what is trapping them in the middling spots, which is unfortunate. With that, the overwhelming Oni is now been talked about, discussed. We now have to jump to Aki. You've sat here, you've heard my spiel, you've heard Joe's spiels, and you've just been building building what you have. Would you like to drop exactly what you were talking about today?
Yes. I really do want to drop an honorable mention because I only really did pick the one that I was going to do this morning, simply because I was stuck for like a month on these guys. So a very honorable mention to, I might butcher the name, my bad, Tamamo no Mae, or Lady Duckweed. That is the nine-tailed fox spirit who was trapped in the Killing Stone that was then released on International Women's Day. She's been released. Her soul is released on Women's Day. There is no more scorned woman than her. And the only reason why I've decided to like not talk about her is simply because you guys have covered Kitsune before, and she's like the Kitsune. She is the nine-tailed fox. Naruto ain't got shit on her, like that kind of vibe.
Her stone split 2 weeks ago.
Yes,
she's just been out there.
Yes, yeah, no, it's split like down in half. If you look at the picture,
Rainwater
it's in half.
Rainwater split the stone open.
Yeah,
just through years of like.
And it's the Killing Stone too. This is the stone that when people pass by, they don't pass by it anymore because they die. And I believe the seal that was on it was not cut.
Yo, what the fuck? There is an evil spirit that's been released into the world, and we all just been vibing. What the fuck?
Yeah, I wasn't sure if you guys knew about her or not, and I was thinking about doing one about her, but
I gotta build an altar. I gotta.
We gotta go. We gotta do
a moon ritual.
Get to the monster bucker.
But she's been released, guys, and not just released on International Women's Day.
So shout out to women.
Shout out to women.
Shout out to women. On your day, an evil spirit has been released. And honestly, shout out to women.
I don't believe in the glorification of murder. I do believe in the empowerment of women.
Exactly.
I believe in revenge. I hope she gets satisfying revenge on the bloodline that put her in here. Go for it, girl. It's
Amen.
Okay.
MFA supports your revenge tour.
But just that one. Please don't go terrorizing. I know you didn't do it, but don't terrorize the innocents. But you may seek revenge on the bloodline, though. I don't mind.
If that's the one you're passing up, what one have you brought to us today?
I know.
So the one that I brought today is arguably just as famous. She's existed for, I don't think she's existed as long, to be 100% honest, but she's existed and has caused probably a very well-known case of mass hysteria. I'm bringing you guys the Kuchisake Onna, or Slip. The Kuchisake Onna, or Slit Mouth Woman, is a malevolent figure in Japanese urban legends and folklore. Described as a malicious or vengeful spirit, the Kuchisake Onna is a beautiful woman who transcends time, save for the corners of her mouth slit from ear to ear. Be wary of your next walk home, for she lurks in dimly lit streets and alleyways, a huntress waiting for her next prey. If approached, she will ask you a question. Am I beautiful? This bitch famous.
Oh, she got clout.
She has money.
She has everything, actually. I think she is the scorned woman, if I'm being 100% honest. Like, same vibe, you know, like, there's different, like, stories to her, like, backstory, and it really is just how badly you want to villainize her. Because she's either like an abused wife to a samurai who then cuts her mouth like that, like Glasgow smile like that, or she's an adulterous wife and he's right for cutting her face open. It don't make sense to me. I don't know why her being adulterous is like it's okay.
Like,
no,
yeah.
no.
You
Right.
could have just gotten a divorce.
Exactly. And she is someone who's existed actually from since the Edo period to right now. I looked it up. The last or the most recent sighting was in 2019.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, she active. She kept her job.
Yeah. I think she was active a lot in the 70s, hence the mass hysteria. And then came back in the early 2000s with like creepypastas and stuff. And so she's got a bit of like that occult following going on.
Her spirit's strong.
Very strong.
She's a strong-willed woman. She's scorned. So here's my thought process. Because it's like, all right, how would a relationship work with her? Like, she asks you a question like, am I beautiful? And you say, yeah, 100%.
So there's
Hottie.
that's the issue though. So she does ask you a question, and it's kind of like a lose-lose situation here. In our chat, I dropped a really funny diagram that's on Wikipedia. And basically what happens is, so you're approached by a woman and her mouth is covered, by the way. In the past, it's been covered by like a hand fan.
We love a safe queen.
Or like a mouth, like a tablecloth, a handkerchief. And in more recent sightings, she wears a surgical mask because in East Asia, wearing masks has been very normal. So this is a normal sighting. And she'll then ask you, is she pretty? And if you answer yes or no, like if you answer no, I think she just auto kills you. But if you answer yes, then she takes off the mask, and it's that big slutty smile, and then she goes, "Am I pretty now?" And then if you say yes, she apparently stalks you home and then kills you in your home. Or you say no, she kills you on the street. There is only one way to juke her, and it is to give her a piece of hard candy, throw money at her, and then run, like distraction. They do it in like Assassin's Creed. And then the last one's to say you're average looking, or maybe, and then dip, because that confuses her. That's it. Those are your options. She also is indiscriminate. Men, women, children, everybody getting got.
Okay, we love progression. We love a progressive queen. The problem is that we're immediately seeing is that I don't think you can have sex with her. I don't think from the chart, because there's a literal fucking chart of your options. And sure, she'll stalk you home, maybe suck your dick, but then she's eventually killing you, which again is never an issue.
Would she suck your dick though?
That's the question. Like, if you say she's beautiful, is it like, wow, thanks? There's a whole maybe she'll suck your dick, but it's an option. It's like
the scars is what I'm saying.
I mean, she can. I mean, the Joker has scars, and he still sucks dick, probably.
He still sucks activally.
Listen, we all know Joker wants to suck Batman's dick. It's that simple.
I guess I'm sorry, I'm still interrupting you. I'm mostly just thinking, how fresh do the scars stay? Like, is it like not viscera, but like, is it like
I'll say from
how
media,
does it appear?
From media I've seen, like mangas and stuff like that, like it's still like fresh. It's more like sometimes a snake jaw where it unhinges and you can just see like the full like inside, and it's just like just that kind of vibe. In other ones, it's been like blood dripping from the sides, like it's fresh blood, stitches in there, or not even stitches. It's just like dripping pieces of like this is gonna get a little bit of a descriptor graphic if you want to lower your volume, like bits of flesh just like drip, like still attached and like straining to keep her jaw together as she like talks to you. Which that would freak me out.
Okay.
But
that'd be a little scary for sure.
But there are other ones where it's like very fresh. It's just like snake jaw. I think I want to jump straight into possibility. I think I want to jump straight into the pop scale here. For possibility, because of the chart that you've presented, I'm giving this like a 2.
True, right?
There's
sure.
I changed that 4. The reason I give her 4 is because her most recent sighting has been 2019. She's been around. She's been doing the damn thing. She's a hard worker. Listen, bless up to her. We love a working woman. Do what you got to do. But because of the chart, and you've brought a chart that shows me the options here. This
Yeah,
is
right,
not
right.
really
I
happening.
did my homework.
Yeah, the possibility is not happening, right? Like to sex, so or even a relationship. So a 4. You can encounter her. After that, who the fuck knows?
It will indeed be hard.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what do you guys think?
It's probably it probably has to. I feel like a 4 is pretty generous,
Yeah.
but I think in the same way that like she probably looks normal in public, but then
that's ideal.
this
She's-
is what
like unassuming.
You gotta work.
Right? Yeah.
you gotta juke her a little bit. You gain her trust.
Have several encounters where you throw money at her and say she's average. Because if you just keep saying she's average, like that's a confidence
That's so
killer.
sad.
Yeah, that's
I know.
rude. It's like you're just okay. Money,
Bye.
like that, just feels a whole type of energy.
Yeah, it does.
5. Here's why.
Oh.
I live in a city area, so my chances of just running into her any day of the week while I walk home, very high. Just in terms of setting, okay? Now here's what I do. I read a lot of enemies to lovers because I can't afford therapy. So I will keep juking her. I will juke her till for ever. The games we play, this cat and mouse, okay? Like that's the vibe, okay? And so something fun is the hard candy thing is really funny because that's something I used to carry a bunch of candies, and I still actually carry candies in my pocket, and it was never to juke specifically her, but it's actually kind of common in like, at least in I want to just generalize it, in like Asian folklore, to carry like something sweet to appease spirits. Like my aunties and stuff used to be like, so you can have some, you can give your sister some, but always keep some on your pocket, to spread the kindness and don't get eaten. And I'm like, so that was like a thing for me. So I actively have like fucking Welchers in my bag and stuff. I have the lucky candy still from New Year's. Like I have candy on me. I can juke. Bam, super effective. I'm gone. I'll just be like, I'll throw the candy with my number. Haha, just never
Okay. Like with your address, just like, here I am.
Yeah.
After dinner, go to Chili's.
Shoes when you enter, like, just stuff like
Don't
that.
fucking
Just-
take her to Chili's.
Oh, you're right. Take her to Olive Garden. I just want breadsticks. I want someone to pick me up on my
I
neck.
just want breadsticks.
I want someone to pick me up on my neck and take me to get breadsticks.
I get bread.
I get
Is that what you said?
breadsticks.
Get this bread.
Get this bread. All right, reasonable. You explained it. Reasonable. I'm with it. Attractiveness. 6?
No,
No. Are you saying higher or lower?
higher. Well, I'm sorry. This is your opinion.
Exactly.
It's fine.
So shut up.
It's fine that you have opinions.
Yeah, the right opinion. So a 6. Yeah, I think a 6. I think it's pretty reasonable. She's with just a face mask. It's just like a regular person, and even if you take the mask off, if it's the more like snake jaw thing, that's still hot. So I'm with it. It's just if it's like the goopy jaw that I'm like, meh, more hesitant for.
For sure.
I agree. Snake mouth jaw, I'm here for it. Bloody jaw, I'm also here for it because vampires. But also because water can fix our problems. Like that's you're gonna have to wash your hands anyways. Like, you know what I mean? Just as a general thing, you might as well also just dab the face. So, like, yeah, water can fix that. Goopy jaw is a bit of a like, maybe next time, that's where I throw the candy again. Be like, next time, please, no goo. Just that, that kind of thing.
Here's a bunch of fruit snacks. Please, no goo.
Other than that, she's usually the wife of like a samurai as well. So that means she got elegance, she got poise. So I think she would know how to like hold herself in an attractive manner. So I wanna say 7.
I will say, if you manage to do it, her head game probably crazy.
True.
Not wrong.
She can
not
like
wrong.
scoop up your entire like.
She's also
pelvic.
driven. Like if you go, I didn't really like it this time. She'll be like, all right, bet. Come back next time, studied up.
Get your whole balls and dick just.
She's been alive for a long time.
Oh, she got technique. Change it up.
She gotta
have
get
to.
you. Like, I'll teach you something.
Throwing that thing around, Joe.
For whatever reason, in my head, she's like for whatever reason, she's like, I feel like we're just like imagining her. She's like rich because of like royalties is like what's going on. Like, just like, this is my story. You're going to sell it. I'm going to get paychecks. I'm going to keep doing my thing.
Yeah, I'm going to keep
Which is hilarious to me.
I think also she's a trend, like she understands trends.
She's a trendsetter. She's fashion.
Yeah,
like
she keeps up with
weapons,
the trends.
Yeah, her weapons and her how she looks changes based on the year. By the way, it used to just be like a dagger. Now it's long medical scissors. My girl went to med school.
Med school, yes.
Yeah, like that ups in the attractive skill in some way, shape, or form.
It's an 8.
Okay.
I think it has to be. Because, like, again, sexualizing your own fear. It happens.
All right.
It worked.
Aki,
what was your... I'm sorry. Aki, what was your attractiveness again?
7.
Okay.
Solid 7.
Now on to audacity. This is very audacious. This is a 2.
Oh my god.
This is absolutely a 2 to a 1.
This is a woman that's come to kill you.
Yeah.
And, like, I love a woman that'll just kill me.
Same.
But this one might take a while. This one might want to kill you several times. Like, that's a thing. If you've juked her once, she does come for you again. You know, that's a thing. A reoccurring survivor sighting is normal. So
my thing is that I'm wondering if it's more audacious for her to seek her out or the Oni. Right?
I think her.
I think it's less possible to see her in the first place.
Yeah.
But then
he seeks you, technically.
Yeah, she finds you, and then even if she does find you, to be able to juke her and like build a relationship from there is near. I would say near impossible.
Yeah,
right.
It would be. So I'd make this a 1. I'd be real.
Mm-hmm.
I would give this a 1.
I would also give it a 1, as much as I don't want to, because I'm confident that way. I get confident, little ridiculous maybe, but like I would realistically give it a 1, just because this is a commitment.
Yeah,
this is a commitment.
I could juke her like once too.
Oh my god!
I respect you.
What's your number? What's the number you're giving?
2.
2? Fine. Fuck it. Fine. Whatever. Parental acceptance. If we got to the point with her meeting my parents, if we got to that point, so we've already been through the stages, I think we can have a good relationship. 7.
She's a med student. She's versatile. She's a trendsetter. She has royalties. She has passive income.
She got it like that.
And I have East Asian parents. They love a health-conscious person, even if they only appear that way. And my mom's anemic. Maybe we can get, like, oh, she's bloody because she nosebleeds a lot. She coughs up blood. It's fine.
I'm with it.
I'm stuck between 5 and 6. So I feel like I will go for 5.5. I love women.
Struggle.
6.
Okay.
I'm gonna be a 7. I did the math. My dad would probably be an 8. My mom would probably be a 6. So 7 makes sense.
Yeah.
Why? All of those things, right? Health conscious, all that kind of things. I don't even think that, like, for, like, if she had, like, the snake mouth thing, right? I don't even think that'd be much of a problem. Like, would they stare? Yeah, they would just need to get used to it, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like so would you dating her.
True.
Other than that, she's quite the catch, and the only thing I don't have to mention ever is that we met because she wanted to kill me. I could straight up just say we met at a coffee shop. I could lie. I'm okay with lie. I lie all the time.
Yeah.
So, like, I would lie for her. As long as my parents don't, like, know that part, they would actually be pretty chill. She's packing it. She's a package.
She's packing it.
She's packing.
She's packing. She has a gun and a huge cock.
So she got a huge strap.
She don't need a Glock. She immortal that way.
All right, with that, we have all our scores. So we're going to calculate our overall score. So for the last time this episode, we are going to pause for math. And now that we've done the math, Joe, what's your score?
5.
Aki, what's your score?
Also a 5.
Wait a second, because when we added my score, it's also a 5. Triple 5s across the board.
Sorry.
I don't apologize. For our third triple score of the episode. But that's kind of crazy. You know, I think it's just because she's probably the most inaccessible monster we've had for a while. Even she's both the most accessible and the most inaccessible monster at the same time, which I think is crazy.
True.
Pretty crazy. And with that, we are done with the killer Kuchisake, and now it's time to wrap up this episode by ranking our 3 yokai from our least to our most fuckable. So in last place, unfortunately, it's Aki's pick with the Kuchisake. It's, like I said, just the most inaccessible and the most accessible at the same time. Very difficult. Love a scorned woman, love a hardworking woman. Just not it for this episode, unfortunately. What's up? Second place in a 5.1, only like barely above it, is the Oni. She is strong. I want to get fucking pinned to a wall by her.
Destroyed.
Absolutely destroyed by her. But unfortunately, the wickedness kind of weighs down everything about it, which is unfortunate. And finally, in first place, Joe, do you want to see who's in first place?
First place is Joe's pick for 7.7 overall, Kichi, Onna.
That is correct. Joe, you have picked an amazing monster this time. It's just sometimes
This time.
This time. It's
Words mean things.
Words mean things. Remember that. It's just the back of the head. 2 mouths are better than 1, it seems.
Man, we picked a monster
That's
we
it.
wanted to wife. Let's be real.
Mm-hmm.
We were like, we would settle down and we'd still get everything out of it.
Exactly. So with that, let's wrap up with our closing thoughts. Joe, do you have any closing thoughts?
2 mouths are better than 1 on 1 head. You get married. Get married.
Get married. Aki, thank you so much for joining us. Do you have any closing thoughts or anything you want to shout out?
Thank you for having me. Please listen back to the first episode where I introduced all my stuff because I don't want to do it again. And that's my shout out to myself and also to rewatch this episode. And finally, to close you off with just how much of a degenerate I am. Every single every single yokai that was mentioned in today's episode, I have an OC based on them. Thank you.
Oh my god.
Yes, I love that. Let me plug something, but I don't want to interrupt you.
Sure. I will do my last closing thoughts. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Aki, for joining us. This is, again, another fun episode. This will be the closing part of our 4-part series where we had guests. We will have more guests coming up. We have them already planned out, but we're, at least for the first 4, as we film in 4 episode segments, these are our guests. It's been a lot of fun with every one of our guests. I want to thank Scholastic Dragon. I want to thank Brandy Rose. I want to thank Soren, and I want to thank Aki, all for making our guest episodes so much fun. Joe, anything else before I close it completely out?
So, by the time that this episode comes out, we'll probably be on the 3rd or 4th session of Dead Zone, which is Starlight Tales' new cosmic horror D&D show that I am on. My character is Mitsuki Hiden, and she is an ice genasi bard warlock. She's here to cause problems, and if you want to see me every other Wednesday, go check that out, because that's also Kessa's network, and sometimes you can see Kess as a player, and she's very attractive. So,
Absolutely wonderful. Please check them out when you got the time. So with that, I think it's time for the 3 of us to descend back into hell where we belong. All right? We all ready to make the jump, make the plunge?
let's all make some Gregorian chants.
Yeah.
All right.